I'm going to share the brutal truths I wish someone told me before I tried to make any money online. The kind of advice that gurus won't admit because it kills their sales pitch. And if I'd known this at 16, I'd be years ahead financially. Over the last 12 years, I've tried nearly every online money making strategy you've heard of under the sun. Most worked for a little while, but then collapsed. I've lost money, I've wasted energy, and honestly, there were times where I just nearly quit for good. So when I first started out, I chased all the shiny promises. I had shiny object syndrome. So I did dropshipping, print on demand, private labeling, FBA, SMMA, day trading, affiliate marketing, flipping social media accounts, and kind of most recently, AI automation. I've tried nearly all of them, and 90% of the time, I didn't just fail, it drained me. My time was wasted, my motivation was shot, and my self-belief was just knocked. But the worst part isn't losing the money, it's losing the time. You'll get years that you just never get back. I had dreams of becoming a millionaire in my 20s, but that goal is like slipping away. And I spent so many nights just refreshing dashboards, praying for one sale or one good lead, telling friends that I'm building something big, but I knew deep down I was just sinking. And you know, that self-doubt that maybe I just wasn't cut out for this kept coming up. I wanted to quit, but in all honesty, back in the UK, I just couldn't afford to for the life that I wanted to live. So I kept going, I kept learning from my mistakes, and eventually I learned 2 lessons that changed everything. It wasn't some secret money making model, it wasn't some overnight hack, it was this. Now listen up. You need leverage and you need an unfair advantage in whatever industry you want to succeed in. Because without them, you might win for a while, but in the long run, you'll lose to someone who has both. So, in terms of leverage, this can come from many places. Number 1, other people. So mentors, partners, networks, connections, etc. Number 2, location. For example, moving abroad, lowering your costs, buying yourself more time to keep playing the game. That is a unique leverage. Or going somewhere that has more opportunity, especially if you're in a quiet country or place that you can't really network with other people who are like-minded like you. And then number 3 is industry choice. Picking a market big enough to sustain you with just a small market share is crucial. For example, if you only took 0.5% of the market share, could you make a lot of money? If that's no, then stay away from it, in my opinion, especially if you're ambitious like me. And then when it comes to an unfair advantage, in my opinion, this comes from 2 places. Number 1, a skill that you're naturally better at than most people are, even without practice. For example, if you think of athletes, they have a skill, you know, a natural ability. With a basketballer, it might be jumping or just their size. Lionel Messi, with football, he's just, well, he just does magic with the ball. Now that's obviously sport. In business, it could be many other things, which I'll get into. And then the second thing is a personal brand. Because in this day and age, people buy from people that they trust, especially as the playing field is becoming a lot more level, if that's the right way of saying it. There's not much to differentiate from business to business. So now it's all about who do you like the most? And if you like them, you usually do business with them. Now, having a personal brand doesn't mean being everywhere on social media. You don't have to do that. It means having a solid reputation within the industry that you want to succeed in. So look, social media helps, but it's not essential. My biggest mistakes earlier on is not networking enough, not choosing the right industry, and not building a personal brand. For example, when I first got started properly, I once sold luxury travel wet wipes. Yeah, you heard me correctly. Luxury travel wet wipes. Now, them products made some okay money for a little while, especially when I was young. But honestly, who buys luxury travel wet wipes? Not many people. The niche was tiny, and then like bigger sellers entered the market. Amazon changed its algorithm, which is where I was mostly selling, and basically my business essentially collapsed overnight. So, and that's because I had no leverage and I had no unfair advantage and no personal brand, basically. So fast forward to now, my unfair advantage, I have a few, but the main ones is I'm naturally great at hiring and managing remote staff. I'm brilliant at finding top tier talent. And then my partner, her unfair advantage is many years in the beauty and medical industry, and she has the contacts and the know-how within that field. So together we partnered up and built a business helping dental and aesthetic clinics cut front desk staff by 60%. So especially in this day and age where overheads for many businesses in the UK, US, etc. are just going through the roof. So it's a real problem. We have a real solution, and we are generating recurring revenue, which is another key thing. Try and go for a business that you don't have to keep on finding new business every single day. Yeah, with our leverage and unfair advantage, most people can't compete with us. So let that sink in. Leverage plus an unfair advantage beats hype, it beats trends, or being first to a market every single time. Remember, Google wasn't the first search engine to come on board. Amazon definitely wasn't the first supermarket to go online. So yeah, let that sink in. So if this resonates with you so far, hit subscribe, because what I'm about to share with you next is exactly what I wish I knew before I wasted so many years in this game. So if I had to start from scratch, here's what I would do. Number one, I would network. Find people years ahead of me and a lot further down the line who are much more successful, and basically try and get in their circle. If you don't have much to offer, offer your time and your energy, especially if you're young, and learn from them. Yeah, I cannot emphasize enough that it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. And then of course, who knows you, but that comes later on down the line with experience. So just literally find someone that you are in the industry that you want to be in, that you like, and essentially want to be not like them, but in a position like them, if that makes sense. And then number two, keep costs as low as possible for as long as possible. Especially if you're planning to make money online and you can't live with relatives or whatever, move abroad. Yeah, like save yourself a lot of headache by going to low-cost countries, and that will be able to buy yourself much more time to stay in the game, especially when you get started. That is a game changer. Live that kind of, I won't call it digital nomad life, but just a life where you can live anywhere you want. Yeah, so currently I'm in Albania, where the cost of living is so much lower. Our rent is, what, £620 a month for 3 months on Airbnb. So, and that's like a 1-bedroom apartment. Yeah, in the UK, if you were to rent a 1-bedroom apartment without, you know, all the other bills on top, such as electric, Wi-Fi, or whatever, you probably are spending, in the south of England where I was, minimum for something really terrible, £800 a month. If you're lucky, you're probably looking more into the thousands. But anyway, I digress. So the third thing is forget the hype and the shiny objects. Easy money does not last. If the hype died down, would people still buy your product or service? So at the moment, the current hype is AI. And don't get me wrong, AI is here to stay, but it's the kind of shiny object syndrome that businesses and entrepreneurs are interested in. But in all honesty, it's just not quite there yet for most business owners. So unless you're doing something really special, right now I would avoid it. Obviously you can maybe use some of it to get attention, but don't make it your main business model. And again, I've tried it, I've made mistakes from that, learn from my mistakes. And then number 4 is pick a boring but profitable industry and focus on recurring revenue. Next point, number 5, document the journey as much as possible. Try and become known in an industry, even if no one's watching at the start. Slide your pride to the side and just get started before you look good. Because one day, somebody will find you, resonate with you, and want to do business with you because you put yourself out there. And with these 5 steps, I believe that's how you build long-term freedom and not just chasing trends and not having to start over again and again. But for me right now, I've cut all the noise. I'm focusing on one online business that is growing, solving a real problem, and it keeps clients coming back. Now, it's not easy, it never is, it's not sexy, but it's real, and that's all that really matters, especially if you want to build a life of freedom and more choice. So if you're figuring out your first online income stream or business, please do learn from my mistakes and learn from my over a decade worth of trial and errors. So yeah, again, find your leverage, find your unfair advantage, stay focused, stay consistent, and then scale from there. So if this hits home or you found this really helpful, please like and also drop a comment. Let me know what you're working on, what your plans are, or if you have any questions, I will answer them. And I'd love to hear from you. And if you want more of the raw, unfiltered truth about leaving the UK, try and make money abroad, through online businesses, or a business, then please subscribe, because I'm not sugarcoating everything. This is raw and real, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.